I got the opportunity to go to a Ren fair. Settling into North Carolina, this was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. I've always wanted to go, so come along, we're gonna go ahead and check this out, and let's get started. Something a little bit different for this video. I'm actually in the process of working on the edits for this release, and I'm gonna be doing my commentary as I go along with it. This is a little bit of a different format. If you decide that you hate it and you want me to do something else, let me know, but we're gonna try this. The tickets have a specific amount that they were selling per day, so I absolutely recommend, if you're gonna go to any Ren fair, wherever it is, look in advance to purchase your tickets, because there's only a set number. And that was actually a really smart thing to do, because even with a set number of tickets, the park was completely packed. It was so busy. There's lines everywhere. I can't imagine if it had just been kind of a free-for-all. And it's all contained in this highly immersive village that's set up in, I think it's in Huntersville, if I remember correctly. And it was really neat. So there would only be, I guess, so many people that they could fit into this area to begin with. So that was really clever planning on their part. So you get to spend the day as kind of this medieval peasant walking around or whatnot. I didn't dress up. A lot of people did. I ended up purchasing this cute little flower wreath. I'm wearing it in one of the videos where I'm riding a camel, and you can see it when I'm holding one of the birds. And that was like $30. It's expensive, I will say that. The cost of admission for an adult was, I think I paid like $35. That's not horrible, I suppose, considering all the things that you can see and do that are for free, that you don't have to actually pay for. There's a lot of entertainment in that regard. And I think that's competitive with like most theme parks nowadays, maybe. I don't know. It's been a really long time since I went to a theme park, probably since I was in college, just because I have an aversion to spending a lot of money and then spending most of the day standing in lines, which, you know, it just seems like there's more and more of that when I see videos about what Disneyland has become and people's experiences, or Disney World. It just seems like a lot of money being spent, and people don't seem as happy as perhaps they should be when they're dropping that kind of cheddar to be entertained. So to get in, I would say even for like a family of 4, you're probably still looking at around $100 just to get in the door. $35 for adult. I think the kids 12 and under were like 20 or something. So not horrible. You know, if you're trying to like kind of watch pennies there, admission is definitely going to be a big one. And then once you get in, there's face painting, there's all kinds of comedy shows. There's the jousting, of course, which is hugely popular. There was a whole little kids area. Obviously, I just didn't go down there, but so there seems like there's quite a bit to do, even if you're bringing a family. So I have to say, one of my favorite parts about the day was the comedy shows, and we were able to take in a couple of them. The comedy shows, though, oh my gosh, they were top notch. It reminded me a lot of when I was a kid watching Looney Tunes, you know, Warner Brothers, like Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd and Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner and all that stuff, and Foghorn Leghorn. Like, it was hilarious when I was a kid because at face value it was funny. But rewatching all of that stuff as an adult, and you suddenly get all the adult humor that was very cleverly hidden, makes you appreciate it a lot more. The entertainers were fantastic. Just even the people greeting, you know, the visitors as they were coming through the gates. The royal court is there, of course. I don't know what it takes to be in the nobility or the royal court for a Ren fair. If you know, drop it in the comments. I have no idea how you get involved with something like that, but they're all there, even at the front gate, greeting people when the gates open in the morning. And they're really funny. Like, I have to give it to them. They're really good with people. They are fast on their feet with improvisation, so they can react and whatnot with all the festival goers, and they're pretty funny about it. So that was well worth it too. Those turkey legs looked amazing, I'm not gonna lie. They did serve alcohol. Gotta have your ID, of course. And there were little vendors throughout that were selling little snacks and things of that nature. There was a whole artisan market that sold anything and everything I think you could possibly envision or want from an experience at a medieval village. Medieval village. There was even I'm like going through this as I work on my edits and review the photos and stuff. There was even a forge set up, so you could actually, like, blacksmith something or whatever if you wanted to. I did purchase a lot of honey products from some folks that were there from a local apiary. I love bees. We love our little pollinator friends. Love honey. I'm willing to pay money for local honey, especially. I spent a little bit more money than I really planned on it. I originally took out a couple $100. That's what my friend recommended. And I ended up acquiring this really cool leather flagon or beer mug, whatever you call it. This is actually it. You can see it in the video. It's got the Elvish from Lord of the Rings. I'm a huge nerd, you know that. I've got the really cool, beautiful thing on the top. It actually has, you can pay for the lid extra, which I did. It's leather completely with a piece of wood on the bottom, and it's completely waxed. And the guy that makes them was really interesting to talk to, and he has all different kinds of designs, and he gives you your little card with information and his contact, so if anything ever starts to happen with the wax coating, you mail it back to him and he'll reseal it for you. Obviously you can't put super hot liquids in it because that will melt the wax coating, but it's really beautiful. I had not planned on spending as much money as I did, but this was one of the reasons why. But it's still really worth it. It was a novel experience and I absolutely love it. I actually do have beer in it while I make this video, kind of really getting into that medieval vibe. I got to have my flagon of ale while I do this. That seems mostly fitting and appropriate. Among the other cool things that were there was the dragon aviary. You can see the pictures here. It's completely free to walk through. This is an exotic bird rescue, which is really important. These magnificent birds, you can actually pay to hold one if you want. If you just want to walk through the aviary, it's totally free to look at the birds. If you would like to hold one, it's like a $5 donation. I did that because I love animals, sometimes more than people, and I will always support animal rescue of any sort. Got to ride a camel. I haven't ridden a camel since I was a kid. That was a really fun experience. I grew up in New Orleans. I'm a New Orleans native, and when I was growing up at the Audubon Zoo, they used to do elephant and camel rides. Pretty sure that's long gone, but when I was a kid, they were still doing it. So I have gotten to ride an elephant once in my lifetime. That was a really cool experience. I know that's frowned upon now, but that was kind of neat. And that was also the last time I got to ride a camel. So there we go. I got to ride 2 camels in my lifetime. One of the other really cool shows that we went to was the falconry show. They have a variety of birds. There was a hawk, there was a kookaburra, there was a vulture, there was an owl. It was really interesting. The man that was handling them gives a lot of really neat information. There's various perches set out around through the audience, so the birds will actually go and swoop over the audience and go, land on the various perches so you can kind of see them in flight, and it was really interesting. I'm never going to get tired of watching raptors. I do have a video about the Carolina Raptor Center. If you've never been, I highly recommend that as well. That is a fantastic thing to see and do, to see some raptors up close. The ever popular joust. The joust, it happened several times throughout the afternoon, and it was standing room only. I have no idea how early you have to get to the arena to be able to see, the joust in like the actual stadium seating, because both times that we went, it was completely packed and we were kind of in the back of the standing room. Fortunately, the part where you stand in is also angled, so it's not like you're trying to look too far up above everybody else, unless somebody hoists a kid on their shoulders, which they do. But that kind of uneven dip in the ground sort of gives you a chance to to see what was going on. And there was a lot of theatrics with that too, and it was really fun. You know, people were rooting for their favorite knight, and there was a lot of like smack talking between the knights, and it ends up being this big drama thing, and that carries on into the follow-up tournament. So it was a lot of fun. People were really getting into it. And there's just something about watching jousting that is crazy. People go nuts for it. And it's true. Like, I think that maybe that's why everybody loves A Knight's Tale starring Heath Ledger, because jousting, right? How cool is that? So that was my first Ren Fair. What do I actually think about it? I'm glad I went. It is costly, but I think you could keep it to a minimum. Like I said, the purchase of like this, and then my friend and I bought a couple beers. The beers are like $8 a piece as well. But I think you could keep it to a minimum if you really had to. I would say, even though I feel like we spent so much of the day just standing in line, at every turn, there's stuff going on. There's so much stuff to see. So while you're standing in line, you can kind of look around and see any number of shows from where you are. I mean, they're all over. They're spread throughout the park. Plus, a lot of people came in costume. I mean, I would say most people came in costume, and the costumes are fantastic. They range from kind of basic all the way to these gorgeous, utterly elaborate costumes that were just incredibly impressive. I saw a lot of people in the park. It was like 9, I think the gates opened at 9:30, and at 9 o'clock in the parking lot, while they were all, you know, packing us in, people were out there like pouring a few cold ones to get themselves ready. I mean, mad props for just, you know, charging into the day like a winner. So all in all, would I do it again? I would, actually. And if possible, I might actually consider going 2 days, like going the entire weekend, just to be able to kind of take in and do things that I didn't get to do otherwise in one single day. I mean, there were just, like I said, there was just so much to kind of see and do. So many acts and performers that we didn't even get to talk to or to watch because there was just so much of it. And it's full of people. Like, there's so much. And I tell you, there's just lines everywhere. That really eats into a huge part of your day, is waiting in line. So, you know, I would think at least 2 days. I didn't price those packages. There was also like a pub crawl package for 21 and older. I'm not really sure what that cost either. There's a couple different options. So that might be worth kind of pricing out just to, you know, make the full experience. I would say, get there early so you could get a good spot. But I mean, everybody gets there early. The gates open at 9:30. And the lines are still pouring out of the park and well towards the parking lots. So that probably won't help you very much. Anyway, I think that is my wrap up on my first Ren Fair and the experience of it. I'm a nerd, like I said. I grew up on Willow. I love the Tolkien books and movies. Kind of my main hustle for the longest time was science fiction. It still is. I love sci-fi and some horror. So any kind of stuff like this, anything sort of nerdish, if that's what you want to call it, a badge I wear pretty proudly, is something I'm down to do. The expense, you know, I think if it's one of those things where you're going to just, it's on your bucket list to do at least once. Like, I'd love to go to the Star Wars themed Disney park. That just looks incredible. I know it's like, you got to sell a kidney on the black market to be able to afford it. But if it's something that's important to you, you know, that's probably worth it. Do I recommend it? I would say yes. I mean, do it at least once. If you hate it, you don't ever have to go back. Again, you could probably keep the purchasing to a minimum if you just want to get in the door. But I think you'll really enjoy it once you get in, and take time to see the comedy shows and the performers. Go watch the jousting, because who doesn't love that? That just never ceases to amaze anybody, and people eat it up. So, you know, the festival, I don't know how much planning had to go into putting this together because it's extensive, but it was very impressive, and I think they did a really great job with it. So I would say do it. That is it for this video. I hope you guys like it. Like I said, totally different format. If you hate it, please tell me in the comments. I'm really trying to do better about getting videos out more regularly. We are almost to 600 subscribers. Wow. I was kind of redoing thumbnails on my old videos and saw one of them where I open with thanking my 8 subscribers. Like, I really never planned for this channel to be anything except like a video diary, so I could, you know, show my mom and my dad at their encouragement like what I was doing and where I was going. So the fact that this got as big as it has, even though I'm still like very much like small pickings, but the fact that this is what it is crazy to me. So thank you all so much for the ongoing crazy support. I appreciate it. I love interacting with people in the comments. I find out some really interesting things that I didn't know. So keep commenting, keep liking. Please give me feedback if you like or hate anything. I welcome it. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.